Do people assign value to art based off of their perceptions of artists' lives? Artists and their art are constantly being reevaluated in their own context. For example, Van Gogh's vibrant sunflowers can be further appreciated and understood knowing he was being treated with digitalis, a drug that, when overdosed, causes one to experience the color yellow a bit too strongly. Many artists, for better or worse, have had the value of their art changed based off of the perception of their life, such as Britney Spears and her perceived use of marijuana, for one. So it seems almost a non issue to say, yes, part of the reason people value art is because they value the person who made it in some way, be it their inspiration, lifestyle, or what the artist represents. But did my findings reflect this? Not so much. This, however, is not a discussion on rethinking how people value art, but instead on how not to ask people how they value art. I asked respondents to imagine that they were in an art gallery and saw five similar paintings they really liked. It was then revealed that each painting was made by an artist with a particular physical or psychological pathology, depression, addiction, schizophrenia, or MS, and had all died as a result of their conditions. There was also a fifth artist who died of natural causes. Respondents were asked to rate how likely they were to purchase each painting. At the end of the survey, I asked them to pick one work to buy. Out of 68 total respondents, 56 or 88% answered that they were equally likely to purchase any of the art, showing no preference. We will call these ambivalent respondents. A majority of these ambivalent respondents said that they would purchase the art by the artist battling depression. But this is most likely because it was the first artist on the list and not a reflection on how the art was being valued, as within the ambivalent group, 13, nearly a fifth of total respondents, did not answer the final question at all. 12 people did express varying levels of likeliness to buy art, an assertive group. And while this group was slightly younger than the mean, there were no distinguishing demographic factors. And they too purchased in almost equal amounts the works by the artist with depression, MS, schizophrenia, and the artist who died of natural causes, showing no particular preference. So what went wrong? For starters, the scenario itself was a bit contrived. One respondent offered that the final question made little sense, as in reality, they would simply buy the art that they liked the most. In their article on the intersection between creativity and mental disorders, Juan Lopez Ibor writes that creativity and singularity belong to the person, not to the illness. And it perhaps was unrealistic to expect people to willingly make value judgments based off of conditions people had no control over, or on a more complicated level, were unwilling to admit had any bearing on their decisions. And there is a value judgment going on somewhere. While the artists with depression, MS, and schizophrenia received a sizable distribution of purchases, 23 to 33%, the artists with an addiction to heroin only received 9% of purchases, a proportion true for the ambivalent and assertive groups. Doing this survey again, I would change the format considerably. I would want to quantify the aesthetic value people gave to a work of art and then see if I could change that value based off of the information presented. For example, a respondent would be shown a painting and then asked how much they liked it. They would then be presented with facts about the artist regarding congenital conditions, trouble with the law, lifestyle choices, etc., and then be asked to express how much they liked the painting again. Another group of respondents would be presented with the facts first, and then the painting to see if we could preemptively influence value. Today, the art community is reckoning with how to embrace non-traditional artists and artists with disabilities, with many stressing that art is separate from the condition and is contemporary on its own merits. And yet, a recent study from the Australian Council for the Arts discovered that artists with disabilities earn 42% less than artists without disabilities. So with all things being equal, lifestyles and pathologies are affecting value. The trick is to find a way to get people to express those judgments.